Where is the skill?
Yes, but most e-sport players don't like SPG.
Yes, but I guarantee that we got a most not powerful, like most straight, самый сильный клан.
The strongest class.
Yeah, the strongest clan. We got the strongest clan, and we got it too, like a professional artillery guys who like played only on artillery, and they skilled this class so much that like they say it's a good class, it's an interesting gameplay. We don't want to play another tanks. Like for example, if you want to play with your heavy, with your medium, go play. But we like the artillery gameplay. We like this gameplay because, you know, переводи меня, пожалуйста. Чем больше тебе нужно предсказать действий,
How do you want to predict actions?
тем больше тебе нужно, тем как бы заранее тебе нужно это делать. То есть тем больше времени тебе нужно, чтобы, ну, так сказать, за большее время тебе нужно делать эти действия.
So the more time you require to plan these actions in advance.
Yeah. So potentially the artillery, it's all about the predict. If you are good in prediction, you will good in artillery. If you, I'm not about the aiming. I know about the stuff like one shot. Good job. But I mean about the positioning, about the aiming, because you got a really long aim. Yeah. So you need to predict more. So this gameplay for guys who want to predict, like in chess, yeah, and who play like chess, they don't want to like throw the chess figures accurate. They don't need it. They just want to play their chess. Almost the same with like a tank destroyers, and almost the same with heavy tanks. But it's like, you know, it's evolving from artillery, slow gameplay, like a strategic gameplay, to light tanks. Light tanks, it's not about the tactics. It's about your skill. It's about your quick thinking and quick decision making. So it's like an evolution, and we can't just like cut off the part of our evolution of our game. So that's why we still have an artillery, and we rework it, because we know about this pain when you like get shot by the artillery and one shot by artillery. For now, for my opinion, for now it's not less toxic than before, because it's like have more
There's no
accuracy.
But the
yes,
stun
time
is-
duration needs
Yes,
to change.
but
Accuracy.
for now, you don't die so fast
Yeah.
from the artillery, and it will help you to like make a more decisions,
It's more like toy train.
and it increase your разнообразие в геймплее.
It diversifies the
diversifies
gameplay
the
you have in
gameplay.
the game.
For example, you know, the most skilled players don't use the first aid kit after the first hit from the artillery. Because, for example, if they understand they in the safe place, they don't need to use it, and let this stun just go away, and I will wait and etc. And this is the tactic, because you know when you get the second or third hit from the artillery, and you will need to like replace it or fix it, you will have no first aid. It's the tactic. It's all about how you think, because the many players
hold it
just
for me.
artillery hits
Yeah,
you,
hold it for me.
and you push the button in the same time.
The duration is the
Yes. And for example, that more you skilled player, that you more these details you understand, and that's why, for example, you can reach rank 5, or and other guys can't, because all this stuff like artillery, light tanks, heavy tanks, like high explosive shells, that thing that that's мешает тебе
Well, all these things prevent you from.
Yeah, prevents you from like being a top player. For example, for you, a high explosive shell is the most problem, like as the biggest problem. For example, or artillery is the biggest problem. But for the other guys, the biggest problem is, for example, aiming system, like он борется со своей машиной. То есть он борется с,
Well,
да.
kind of situation where players have to struggle with their own vehicles they drive.
Yes, they try to, like, you know, move around the objects. It's hard to move around the objects with the quick with the fast vehicle, and they fight like not with high explosive shells or not with artillery. They fight with his vehicle.
Have you tried to play with Object 261? Lately I have played, I'm not skilled art player, so I hit
I
a
got
90,
one.
I landed 95% of my shots. 95%.
And how many damage?
I have 30, 40 games, 3000 average on Arta.
So, in previous realization, yeah, like if you hit the 95,
Wait a second, I don't want to lie. Maybe someone have internet connection and could check out how much do I have on 261.
I mean, it
That
doesn't
would be
matter
nice.
because for now, your every shot you landed with the new system, it doesn't cost half of HP for other guys. It's just decrease their mobility and other stuff and deals.
I know, but it's quite okay. I'm not going to argue with that, but for me, it looking quite silly. Guy who is chilling in the spawn, watching movie in one screen,
Yes,
eating
yes,
chips
yes,
with other
yes.
hand, and
Yes.
with one hand he can fuck your gameplay. For example, what I'm as a purple player, let's say like that, I'm receiving a lot of guys which is using XVM or which know, well, if they know who I am, it's not a problem. If they are using XVM, I'm feeling, I see like Object 261 in the enemy team, one shot. I'm hiding, I'm going to the other side of the map, Object 261. I'm going through the middle, Object 261, and I can do whatever I want. He see my
Eminent
color and that's it.
Yeah,
And-
it's the problem about the XVM statistics.
Yes.
We know about this, and the biggest problem of XVM that we like always postpone our position about it and the communication with them. As I already mentioned, I mean only for you, but I want to like explain it for other guys. The XVM is not about the statistics; it's just a part of them. So they got many like useful
I
modifications.
completely understand that, it's fine.
And they got statistics part.
But everyone
Could
only
we
thinks
put
the statistics.
that statistic part?
They only think about the statistics, but it enables a lot of other stuff.
Yes, and you know, again, it's a part of our game. It's a big part of our game. And for now, for example, we have more than I don't remember the exact numbers. I mean, for now, but in like 2 years ago, we got more than 50% of whole players playing with XVM, not with the statistics mode, but with XVM.
Right.
So potentially, if we just cut off the like statistics part, we destroyed all these modifications, and that's why we're trying to bring the useful modifications to our game
Into the game.
into the game. Yes, that's why we want to like don't want to just cut off the many useful things from the player to block the statistics.
It's not only about the focus or something, you know, since you are playing your own game, right? Have you ever seen in the start of the battle, fuck you noob team drowning?
No,
Have you ever said
Yes.
saw that?
And we like researched these things, and the result was like interesting for us. Players with XVM, with statistics mode, less toxicity than others.
Less
It's our
toxicity.
research. Yeah.
What? the-
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Whoa.
I almost have the same reaction, but we like researched the whole players from whole regions, asking them. Of course, the bigger auditorium was from CIS server, but we researched it and we asked them how they behavior change after they like install the XVM and something like that. And as they say they got, for example, they use XVM not only for blaming others. They use XVM to plan to playing their battles. So if they see, for example, the good guy right in front of you, you will follow him, and he will help you.
You will probably die because he will let you. He will let you die while farming enemies. That makes sense.
As you always did, yeah?
No.
Because you are in purple. No.
Color is not everything.
So it's better to fight with the good guy who can penetrate every shot and etc. etc. But the most interesting case that toxicity is not about the something like XVM or something or RTs or something other things.
I want to interrupt you very quickly. You are saying it's not about statistics. First minute of the battle timer is going. Fuck you, Tomato IS3, 20,000 battles, you are still red. Fuck you. For example.
Yes,
and it's
That's
about
nearly every.
it's true.
That's nearly every battle.
I mean,
Sure,
seriously,
sure.
we can
Yes.
collect you so many replays, and you will be surprised how
We record
people can
20
be.
matches. You have this one.
I
Was he said in 19 matches.
I think we already announced that we are trying to close our statistics, but it's the big problem for data because
Just
we got,
inside the game.
It is in the battle because
or
we
during the battle.
don't want people to see our stats during
yes,
the
I
battle.
know. For cyber sports, for skilled players, or it doesn't matter because the problem is not only with the purple player. It's the normal distribution with purple player and red players. And the problem is in XVM, first of all, is the red players starts from there and purple starts only from there. And for red players is the biggest problem than for purple players because the purple players is only 1.5% or something like that, and they start players can start blame you even if you better than average player. For example, the average player is a 47% because of the draws. I mean, this numbers is because of the draws. We have draws, and in XVM you already read. So first of all, we asked them to change the colors, colors distribution.
Just make everyone
True, because,
purple, then
for
it's
example,
fine.
if you got a 46% win percentage, you are not an awful player.
Yellow's a new.
You are not
make
good player,
everyone
but you're
purple, then
average player,
they
a
can't
little
focus.
bit worse than average player. So potentially, of course, it's not work so well. It's true because it's in your mind, even shades of red, it doesn't matter. Shades of red, we just call the orange guy red guy and etc. And then we decide to think how we can close the statistics. And we faced with many problems because many services use our data, and we just can't close the statistics because, for example, a simple example, you close the statistics and all
No what lab,
and the guys who previously collect this will show the older one, and nothing changes because they already have the big amount of data, and if they want, they will just show the old results, even if with the close now.
Can they?
Or maybe
It's not about stopping access to the API, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's restricting access to the API when
In battle.
you want to have it access to.
It's
Guys,
fighting the other team's
names and account IDs in the battle.
Of
itself.
course, yes, I know. We're not stupid. We think about the hiding the names, but
And
it's
clans.
more problems with hiding the names than the hiding statistics. Believe me, because for example, if you can hide the names, but you can't hide the profile ID. And they get the information from the profile ID. If we hide the profile ID, we failed with our statistics system at all. So you can't go to the players and see his statistics if you want. We got the problem with battle results and etc. etc. So we need to work completely with the system. And another important stuff that we need, first of all, we need to replace. Тогда я скажу, I'm saying the Russian word is called piskamerka. Piska means dick, and merka it means meter.
Oh,
So,
it's just a matter of comparing your.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You can
So-
even
to another.
So we need to
Eeping.
replace this,
even yeah.
NA
like
players are very familiar.
something which you can compare with other players for the good rating. For example, for the fair rate. That's why we introduced the Hall of Fame. As you
It's
will,
looking good.
yeah, and not only
I
looking
disagree
good,
with
it works good with new wargaming World of Tanks rating system. What RS, short name, and it will help us to bring our system to compare the players, and it will be more fair and decrease the toxicity of the of some. You know, we don't have many things in our game before, and these guys helps us to like не достать упущенное.
Well, to make up for what we left behind, so just
Yeah,
introduced.
yeah. They help us. They really help us because they got many useful modifications, and this system, like when we created tanks, we can't realize that the players wants to compare something not only with win percentage, and it was like from a big perspective it was a mistake because win percentage doesn't matter anything. For example, yeah, I think you know it because the like for example average experience is much more representative statistic for to understand how players play, but you don't need to understand how the players play overall. You need just to know how the players play on this tank, for example, for like last 15 battles, because you need to understand the current skill of the player, not like the previous one, or I don't know, I was a noob and I failed with my battles. I just trying to учиться. Пытался учиться.
Well, I tried to learn the game,
Yeah,
to understand the mechanics.
Yes. And I failed my statistics. Yeah, I know that, and I want to like improve it. And for example, 10k battles before I played like a 46. Now I'm playing like 51. But no one but everyone see the 47 and a half in my statistics.
Yeah, so I think what you're trying to say, WN9 is trying to achieve the same thing.
but it was dead already.
Yeah, but it's dead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if XVM is good in terms of the modifications part, but I think the statistics part needs to be built into the client, like how you're trying to do with the new World of Tanks rating.
World of Tanks.
Yeah, so I mean that's I think, especially from my point of view, you know, like XVM focus is so frustrating.
Maybe we should start from ourselves, and first of all, community contributors should not use XVM. And
I don't use
promote
XVM
that.
anymore.
It's true, but unfortunately, it's hard for you because, like you know,
You have the name focus plus you have the XVM
Yes,
focus,
guys.
and then you have three artists on the opposite side.
let me share my story because before I came to wargaming, I was a really popular streamer, most popular streamer on Twitch my nickname still the same. It was Inaki. I know. I think you don't know me because like I'm not a public person now, but I started the streamers movement in World of Tanks, and I'm a really good player, 60+% win rate, and I was in the most powerful clan in the game called Red. I think maybe you remember this clan from
All times.
Yeah, it's like Team Navy, Team Tornado, and the other cyber sportsmen come from this clan. And let's just imagine, I changed my clan to wargaming. It's not a good improvement.
Bad mistake.
Yeah, and let's just imagine, I'm the popular streamer. I'm with popular clan and really like really good known nickname. Just explain how I get the focus from the players. I know your problem, but the problem is not about only the statistics, about the nicknames, about the clan tags,
Yeah,
and other
obviously.
stuff. Yes. So first of all, we need to give the players instrument how they can the interesting how they can оценивать игроков.
So give players a tool so they can evaluate other players properly.
In battle, because it's really important, because they don't want to see how you're good in your statistics screen. They want to understand how you're good in the battle, because that information needs for them to like plan in the battle, to like communicate with you, and etc. etc. So that's why we need to first of all create a system, new system for the players to evaluate each other. Next step will be, of course, if the system isn't work. For example, we did it, but the toxicity didn't increase. We will sit down and understand how we decrease it with other stuff, and the closing the statistics will be the last one. It's not about the closing the statistics, the technical realization to like delete the nicknames, for example, or something like that. It will be the last one, because it's like it will be awful. It will be awful, and it will like really.
You will think you are playing against bots because
Yes.
you don't see the
Yes.
nicknames. I
Yes,
get it.
this is the first like concern. Another stuff. All this, you know, our game. In other games, it doesn't matter about the clan and other stuff. You can do all the progress by your own, like alone, strength guy, complete the game, and etc. And for our game, socializations elements is really important, because many players, like, I don't know, do you have like some interesting guys which you are meet in the World of Tanks, like a person, like not like a player, like a skilled player.
I
So-
have met with some guys from my old clan,
Yes.
Lithuanians. Yeah.
That's why you came every evening to the game, and like sometimes you came to play, like, and achieve some results. And sometimes you came to just
to relax.
выпустить пар, да, just to relax. Yeah, and it's the biggest part of our game. It's really important to save it. So just turn your nicknames off. It's not a solving the problem. They will get the data, they will get the IDs, they will
Obviously.
dig deeper and go to like the worst case is about when they using previous statistics, because it's not, это не ложь текущая, а это ложь, наложенная на предыдущую.
It's not a current improper information, a current lie, but it's a lie that was made in the past, but is currently projected on the current situation.
So it's like a
Which is-
double lie. I don't know how to
Not
call
good.
it, but we don't want to make it happen. So yeah, we got like a simple and easiest solution. Just ban the XVM, kill the developers, and that's all. But we can do this. It's
Ban
not,
Arta.
yeah,
Ban
yeah.
Arta. Good.
But we can do this because we connect with the XVM and with the statistics a little bit deeper than like some easy stuff. I hope I will explain. I hope I'll explain to you how it works and how we're thinking about these things, because I understand it's not your problem. Like I'm telling you about, oh, we got this problem, we got that problem. It's your problem. We know about this and we're trying to solve it. But I want to.
You guys know from
I just want to know why we do this. For example, every time we do something, we got the discussion, we got this hard. We got this hard break point when we do something. For example, we turned off the general chat. Общий
I
chat.
miss it.
Common chat.
in the
We
beta.
turned off the common chat. It's really hard decision because it was the instrument to socialize with other people, and it was a great instrument. But the problem was, the toxicity, and we analyzed this thing and understand that the players used the common chat only for blaming each other, only for trolling each other, only for provoking.
Provoking.
Yeah, only for provoking each other and etc. And it's bad stuff. Yeah, sometimes you met your friend or your not friend, like a guy who you know like a previous battle, and it doesn't matter. Like in the opposite team, and you want to say him hi, hey man, how's it going, etc. But it's like a 1-0 and like 1-0-0-0-0-1 case.
Yeah, then do it after the battle, so it's also
Yes.
But because right now people already has a voice chat, Discord, everything, so they
Yes,
don't really
yes,
need
yes.
a comment chat.
And-
People I
and-
know,
and-
I know.
But for the
So I
other
can contact
cases,
them.
you use this to like increase the toxicity.
No more puppy tears.
And
He's an Alpha 1. He's an Alpha 2.
yeah, so it's really bad to.
Die, your mother,
It's really hard. It was really hard for us to just make the decision to turn off the common chat. It's not like just let's turn off the common chat. We make many like research and questionnaire to the players how they use the chats. We analyze the data because we have the chat logs. We analyze because sometimes it's hard to understand. Was it toxicity phrase? Was it trolling? Or was it just the words? Sometimes you just tell something and it's the polite words, good words, but the reaction on this word can be like really toxic. And it's hard for us to understand which phrases really increase the toxicity and which phrase is like a good and you like подбадриваешь оппонента, все такое.
You encourage your opponents.
Yeah, just imagine you encourage your opponents. Yeah, it's not logical, but anyway, we need to understand how many what is the balance between the toxicity and the real chat, real instrument for communication. So it's like how the developers works. So
You have a lot of things to do.
yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
So on a different topic, right now there's a really big difference between each of the tiers in terms of the balance of statistics. So for example, tier 4, tier 6, tier 8, and tier 10 all play differently. And it's because, for example, tier 4, there's much lower HP compared to the DPM. Is there any plans to change this to make it easier for a new player going up the tiers?
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, we already introduced the bootcamp. We will, like.
It was a
develop
really
on-
good change.
Yeah, we develop on this side because for new players, like for me, I was a new player. My first battle was in Malinovka, and I just go on my MC1 to the middle of the field, dead, and what happened? Because I can't see anyone, and they shooting me. We know that for the new players, it's really hard to understand our game because it's many parameters in there. And it's not a standard shooter. So yeah, we introduced the bootcamp and we implement the bootcamp. It's our first step. And of course, like we want to like take the players to the hand and goes with him to like a 5 tier vehicle. In this tier, you can feel the class differences more, like you can feel the class differences more, because for example, medium tanks became a medium tanks, heavy tanks became a heavy tanks, and etc. So for us, first of all, we need to like follow with you to your first 5 tier. Then we will improve this system and for now we're trying to make the trees consistent. Of course, it's hard because we got the many historical vehicles, but in the end of the tree, like final 4 or 3 tier, we want to give you similar gameplay. Like for example, if you want to be a big, slow tank with armor, with etc., you will, and you will get this experience from early level as possible. I mean, of course, you can do it like from the first level because it's like it's almost no difference between the tanks, and you just need to hit to do like aim to the hitbox and like spam your shots. So and of course it's really hard to like expand the gameplay on the low levels. So that's why we're trying to not to change it dramatically, because it doesn't matter like it doesn't matter will you touch the characteristics or something others. On the 4 tier, it's like almost the same tanks and difference. It's hard to make a difference between the tanks on the 4 tier. But as higher you get, the more difference between the tanks you can feel. And for example, for now the first our goal and balance, it's like a change all inconsistent trees to like a understandable, like simple tree with, for example, if you got on the 7 level, if you got the armored vehicle, you will not get like for example fast and thinner armor vehicle in the end. This is our like for us for now it's a main goal. You see, we just we work many branches. Like for example, for now we're working on the British branches, and we changed them. We changed like the 50 to 15 because it's like it's not a balanced tank. It's not all about the unhistorical vehicle. It's all about the gameplay. Because, for example, Churchill, we're okay with Churchill, we're okay with Black Prince, because we can change it as the historical vehicle, like we can change the gameplay totally, but we can do it we can improve the gameplay from the tier 8, for example, and make the same gameplay on the tier 9 and tier 10. That's why we replaced, for example, the 215. And that's why we decided to leave it to the players, because it's not a balanced vehicle. We don't have problems with this vehicle, and we can keep it. But for example, for new players who want to research the British vehicle, they didn't understand why they play first of all on the armored slow vehicle with a DPM gun, and then they go to standard configuration vehicle, and then they go to rear turret. What the heck? So this is our first target, and of course, unfortunately, we can't dramatically change the gameplay on the low levels. Potentially, maybe we can we will maybe мы можем вернуться. Maybe we will go back.
Well, eventually we can recover all that we've changed previously, but
yeah, we can go back to the low tier, but after we rework all of the top tier branches, because we got really many problems with this, and players didn't understand why I'm spending my time to, for example, a slow armored vehicle, and then I get something strange.
I guess to clarify a bit, I'm talking not so much about the difference between the tanks of a tier, but the difference in playstyle meta in a tier 4 versus a tier 6 versus a tier 8.
I mean, plus tiers.
Well, so to give a data example, at tier 4, so okay, at tier 1 it takes an average of 5 seconds for a tank to kill itself from full health at starting mode. At tier 4 it takes 9.2 seconds. At tier 6 it takes 19.8 seconds. At tier 8 it takes 34 seconds. So there's this big difference there, mainly because of HP versus damage per minute. And then alpha also plays
Yeah, it's true. Because from the start of the game you need to make a simple decisions. For example, shoot, result, kill, and etc. And it's correct statistic. That's 10-му левелу время уничтожения машины увеличивается.
so by reaching tier 10, vehicles of tier 10 get destroyed. Require much more time to be destroyed than tier 4 vehicles.
Because it's if you will do this on the low tier levels, players just will just imagine the MX-40 fighting versus another MX-40, and they can't penetrate each other, and they fight for eternity. I saw a couple of battles. When they alone, MX-40 versus MX-40, and it's awful. And if we will do this stuff on the low tiers, increase the armor, make more difference between the gameplay and between the the behavior, it will ruin the game. Why we placed the 6 tier versus 4 tier, for example? Why was this? Because we need players to see the difference between the to show the progress. Because, for example, if they fight after the 5 tier, they fight each other with 1 level battle, for example, they didn't understand why they need to go and go to the next level. Why they need to? It's fine to stay on the tier 5 and play every time only on tier 5. We allow this to the player. We don't It's comfortable gameplay there. Like it's easier, comfortable, more comfortable, like for the players. But our this term high-end content, it's on the top levels. And that's why we still place the 4th to 6th level. And I think the 4th is the right level to give the players chance to meet the high tier opponent. Because, for example, on the 2nd tier, it's really painful to fight versus 4. It's more painful than 6. But on the 4th tier and 5th tier, it's okay to see sometimes a really hard opponent. And the new matchmaker, when I introduced the new matchmaker system, this 357, it really helps us to get the situation when the player have the really the really tough opponents, but only with the three only with this number of
Small quantities.
Yeah, small quantities.
It's way better than it was before. 14 tier 10s in one team, 14 tier 10s another team, in the bottom tiger, do love it.
Yes.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. And guys, let's meet each other, like in the common chat. Hey man, from love, let's meet in there because we can't do shit versus like a 10 tier. That's why we introduced the system 357. But for now, I think it's good for the players to understand that the opponents, sometimes you play versus weaker opponents, sometimes versus better opponents. But you need to understand the system. And of course, we know about this problem, like you already mentioned. Described, and we know about this, and that's why we like a 357, not more.
One more thing which I forgot to mention before, still going back to the artist, but it's like nothing too serious.
Sorry
And
guys,
now-
I need to go back.
Sure,
Because
no worries.